Story 1. I'm a new mom to a baby boy who is my pride and joy, and though it's been a roller coaster adjusting to taking care of a baby, the past few months have been great, tiring but great. I have a BF of 3 years who is the first person relationship-wise I've ever loved, and I thought we were doing great as new parents but also as partners. Friday, he came home and he asked me for a paternity test. Just like that, it was completely out of the blue. I was putting away the dishes and he asked for one, like he was asking what's for dinner. I'm a different race from him, but our child, apart from the skin tone, is literally his mirror image from pictures I had seen of him when he was a baby. I was stunned when he asked, and his reasons were that he had to be sure he was the father. He had to have that certainty. All I remember is he was speaking as just immediately feeling pain. The man I love doesn't trust me. He would actually believe that I would fuck someone else, cheat on him, and then try to pass off another man's baby as his. I have never ever given him reason to think I would cheat on him. I have tried to be transparent and communicate, and it wasn't enough. He told me he would give me time to think about this, that he wouldn't go behind my back and do this test, but for our relationship to move forward, he needs to be 100% sure. He repeated this because he, in his words, needed me to realize how serious he was. After thinking for a couple of days, I'm going to allow him this paternity test because I have nothing to hide. I never cheated and would have never cheated on him. Once it's proven that he's the father, I'm ending it, leaving the same day, and I'm going to try my best to be a cooperative co-parent with him. In the meantime, I'm coming up with my exit plan, a place to live, and a lawyer to work out a custody arrangement in court. I can't even tell my family or my friends right now, because they would go nuclear, and my first priority is our child. I hope the test was worth it to him. I'm not asking for advice or reassurance or to explain his side. I'm just realizing this part of my life is now over. What a way to start the new year, huh? First update 3 weeks later. We did the paternity test my BF wanted. It's been a couple of weeks since I posted, and I have just been navigating things after. I'm going to call my BF, Mason, to keep things clear. This is going to be long, I'm sorry. Also, why post on Reddit? I don't know, guys, I don't know. To clarify a few things. 1. We're different races, but to my knowledge, his family plus extended family is more than okay with it. His mother actually set us up. I went to a dinner party, and he and I were the only single people who had been invited, and we hit it off. She admitted to trying to set us up for months. 2. We have had no issues with cheating or any situations where things could be sketchy during the years we have been together. We also haven't broken up or taken any breaks. 3. Our son is his mirror image. My BF confided to his cousin about the paternity test a couple of days after he asked me, and the cousin told his wife, and it spread like wildfire, especially in their family group chats. His mom put an end to the speculation, though by doing a half-and-half pic of him and our son, but also by adding some additional individual pics of both of them. She posted the pictures in the family group chat and said, "Look at the old pics I found of Mason." After people commented, she said, "Actually, the one on the right is my grandchild, or this one isn't Mason." Literally, the family members just thought that it was the same person in all of the pics, and that some of the photos were taken in darker lighting. That is how much our son looks like him, which I find funny, but also a little annoying, like I carried you for 9 months, all for you to be a copy of your dad. I didn't see the group chat, but the topic died down when his mom did that. Anyway, we talked. When I had made the first post, I was so angry and planned to leave, but the anger was quickly replaced by hurt once I calmed down. I realized if I blindsided him like that, I would be doing the exact same thing that he did to me when he asked for a paternity test. I planned to ask him to talk, but I also didn't want him to think I was trying to get out of the test. So beforehand, I booked an appointment at 2 different paternity test locations. I asked him to talk when he came home, and I made sure our child was at my mom's. I told him that whatever happened with his talk, the paternity tests had been booked and would go forward. I basically asked him his reasoning, and when he started having doubts about paternity. Was it a previous relationship? Did cheating happen? He said it was about a week before he asked me that he started having doubts. He said that he was on his lunch break one day just reading articles, and he clicked on an old article about a man who found out his 3 kids weren't his after like 20 years. This led him into a rabbit hole of podcasters and YouTube videos that encouraged men to ask for paternity tests. While he thought those podcasters were idiots, he said that paternity was an exception. He said his reasoning was that some women have done this before, and he wanted to be sure. He said, "You know it's yours because the baby comes out of you." But how do I know? The test gives me that assurance. I was hurt by that, but I decided to explain how I felt. I said that for him. It was a rational request, while for me, it was basically him saying that he didn't trust me. It was him saying that he believed I would cheat on him, get pregnant, have him emotionally, financially, and physically support me during the pregnancy and birth, and basically lie to him while he raised another man's child. I told him that I understand that women had done this before, but the fact that he thought I would do this to him is what bothered me. I told him the truth, that when I was angry, I had planned to leave, and that I even went looking into a lawyer, a co-parenting plan, and a new place to live. He was stunned that I would leave for something so small. I found that to be a weird kind of irony, that he believed issuing an ultimatum about a paternity test and basically accusing your partner of cheating was something small. I told him I was really hurt by what he said, that I was still hurt, but that if he needs this peace of mind, that we would do it. He asked what our relationship was, and I told him I didn't know. We did the test 2 days later and got the results back after 3 days. He opened both of them, and to the surprise of no one, he's the dad. He was visibly relieved when he read the tests, and I don't know why that hurt more. It's been about 2 weeks since the results, and I'm still really hurt. God, I sound so pathetic. I feel pathetic. I thought the results would maybe relieve some of that, but it didn't. It's like a switch clicked when he asked for the test, and I can't find a way to click it off. I'm pretty sure postpartum is playing a part in this because all I do is cry and I wasn't like this before. I have also moved into the spare room, something he was against, but I felt bad because apart from when our son is awake, I'm sad all the time. I am looking for a therapist. I don't know how people find therapists they like so quickly, BTW. And he wants to do couples therapy and he's looking for one. He already has a few appointments booked just to try them out. He wants to move on, marriage, more kids in the future, and go back to where we are, and thinks that our relationship is now stronger, while I'm just thinking our relationship right now is weaker than a person on stilts. I don't know if I would say we are together. The physical affection is gone, I'm not in the right mindset, and I don't want him to touch me. We rarely talk about anything, but the baby, it's awkward, and I'm trying to find a way back to where we were, and I can't see how. I'm going to try to fix this and try therapy individual and couples, but I just have this feeling that this is basically a sinking ship. I hope I'm wrong. I very much want to be wrong. Edit, I really appreciate the kind messages. I know some people are worried, but I have a contingency plan in place. I have a lawyer. I have gotten a child care/custody plan worked up during these 2 weeks. I've told my family, who are mostly close by. I have a rental property I own and can go to. Our finances are separate, so I'm good there. I know myself and I know I'm not in the right headspace right now. I'm staying in the spare room. There is no affection. Therapy, individual or couples, will hopefully help me and will hopefully reaffirm that I had the right idea in the beginning. It's not as easy to move when there's a child. So I'm making sure that I'm mentally well, our child is good, and then I'll make a decision. Thank you though for all your kindness and perspectives. I really appreciate it. Second update. I left. Things have gone downhill and under advisement. I can't really discuss it until things have been settled in court. I guess I'm really a cautionary tale on what can go wrong. Please, if you have concerns with your partner, discuss things beforehand, especially before you have a child. Thank you again for your different perspectives. Hoping to have everything settled eventually. Flaring this ongoing as Op mentions discussing the details after it's all settled. Story 2. My family and friends ruined my marriage. I've been divorced for almost 2 years, and a few weeks ago, my father, 67 male, my 2 brothers, 37 male and 40 male, and 4 friends were very drunk and joked about how they can't believe I left my wife. They said that they all tried to get with her since the divorce, but she had repeatedly rejected them, saying it would be inappropriate and unkind to do such a thing to me. I laughed at what they were saying just to ease them into saying more, and once they thought I found it funny, they really opened up. They had all purposely made me feel paranoid about my ex-wife cheating on me, and using me because why would a woman like her be with a man like me if it wasn't for the money I made? They often hinted at her, sometimes even directly said that she wore the pants in the relationship and that she was only with me because I'm easily manipulated. They constantly planted negative things into my mind. If I went to talk with them about something happening in my relationship, they would put a negative twist to it, or they'd purposely give me bad advice. Then when I lost my job during COVID, they all hinted at how she's definitely cheating now that there's no financial benefit in being faithful to me. I obviously trusted them and often took their words to heart, and it ruined my marriage. I frequently argued with my wife, and I was always accusing her of something or suspecting her of not really loving me. I questioned everything that was between us. I often told her bullshit things like how I'm a high-value man and that she needed to appreciate me, and when I was not working for 6 months, I flipped the script and started accusing her of not respecting me for not working. I was unappreciative of all her hard work and for being the one who took care of our household bills and any other bill during those 6 months of unemployment. I continued to let their words drive me into paranoia, and I started accusing her of cheating with her co-workers. Eventually, my wife had enough of my moods, constant mistrust, and accusations. She left me, and to be honest, for a long time, it felt like it came out of nowhere, and so I had myself convinced she left me for another man. Now here I am knowing that every man I've called my family, my friends, were all my enemies who I let destroy my marriage. I obviously lost my mind once they were done telling me all the ways they conspired to ruin my marriage, and we did get to blows. I've cut off all contact with each and every one of them. I want to reach out to my ex and make amends and hopefully get her back. My ex-wife has agreed to meet up with me, and she doesn't know exactly what I want to discuss with her, and I don't know how to go about making amends and hopefully mending our relationship. How do I tell her how much I regret everything, and that I want her to give me a second chance? Is there even a chance for us? Edit, some of y'all keep saying you took the words of your friends over your wife's, and I don't think that's a fair or complete assessment. I trusted my father and brothers. My father was the main driving force behind this manipulation campaign, and it's not often that your entire family is conspiring against you. And not only your family, but also your friends. I'm not running away from accepting the fact that it is wholly my fault and how my marriage ended. I take ownership of that. I take ownership of the fact that I accused my wife of being a cheater or a user. I regret it all.
If my ex-wife doesn't accept my apology, I would accept it gracefully. If she said she never wanted to talk to me or ever get back together, I'd also accept it. I would not stand in the way, and I would not try to change her mind.
I would wish her well and leave her be. Relevant comments. Fun statistician 550. Well, they certainly know you're easy to manipulate, don't they? I'm glad you cut these people off. And I would also make a concerted effort to hear your ex out. I don't know if she'll ever forgive you, but at least give her closure if that's what she needs. OP. As much as it hurts to read this, and to see myself as such a person, it is true. I trusted these men. I especially trusted my father and brothers. I never thought my own family would be plotting to ruin my marriage and get with my wife. I absolutely won't get in the way of her unburdening herself. I can only hope she can find a way to forgive me and to possibly try to get back together, but I'm not holding my breath. I would respect her wishes even if that means she'll never forgive me. Jess Maju, so are you telling me that you dad and brothers also tried to get with your wife? Island_Lord 830, I'm shocked they are still alive after a confession like that. I'd command Bahamians just too volatile to hear something like that and not go off. That's just vile. I didn't include the violence that broke out once I heard it all because I didn't want my post banned. Blood was absolutely spilled, and of course I had my ass beat because it was 7 against 1. But I did do damage in an ambulance and the police were called. None of us pressed charges against each other and left it at that. Honestly, I am still raging and I've been heartbroken since. Update. 6 days later. On Sunday I got to meet up with my ex-wife. I apologized profusely and she was kind and understanding, but said she couldn't and wouldn't forgive me. She said that it simply isn't in her nature to forgive, and that despite it all she holds no grudges or anger against me and wishes me nothing but goodness in my life. She did give me some advice and told me that I have been in an abusive relationship all my life, and that in order to heal whatever is broken in me that I should cut out my father as he sets the tone for my treatment by the rest of my family. She had pointed out the many ways my father has hurt me or had encouraged my family to mistreat me.
She said I'd always be stagnated and unhappy if I continued to associate myself with my family and former friends. I told her that I cut them out of my life and that I've got my first therapy session scheduled in a few days.
She said she was proud of me for taking my first step into healing. Our conversation was heartfelt and emotionally devastating as we discussed the many ways our marriage had failed as well as the abuse I've experienced by my father and family. We cried the entire time. We cried a lot. We ended our conversation with a long hug, and then we said our goodbyes. Final comment from Op. Forgiveness is earned through changed behavior and recognition of your harm, but it isn't guaranteed or something you deserve. Some things shouldn't be forgiven, and that doesn't mean it eats away at the person or that it somehow holds them back. So I do agree with her when she said that you don't need to forgive in order to heal or gain emotional maturity. And sometimes forgiveness is not even an option. For her, this is one of those things that she simply can't and won't forgive, and all I can do is accept it. As much as I like her forgiveness, it is simply not available to me, and that's perfectly fine. If you've made it to this point, you're a beast.